Welcome to Around and Around, the OCD Circle. My name is Elizabeth, and I have been living with obsessive-compulsive disorder for over 60 years. I am not a therapist or a member of the medical community. I am just an ordinary person like yourself who will be sharing my thoughts and experiences with you, with the hope that you will feel less alone. If you don't have OCD, I hope you will learn some information that will help you understand this disorder better. Some of the topics I will be covering may be triggering for you as a listener. If so, I apologize in advance. Since I don't know what your triggers are, please refer to the episode summary in the show notes before listening to each episode. If at any time you feel like hurting yourself or ending your life, please call the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline by dialing 988 if you are in the United States. It is open 24 hours a day, and you will be connected with the nearest crisis center to receive immediate counseling and local mental health referrals. Now, on to today's episode. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you're having a beautiful day so far. I have slots available this month for more interviews, so if you feel led to share your OCD story, please reach out to me at aroundandaroundtheocdcircle@gmail.com. In today's episode, I continue my conversation with Agis Angeleye, a multi-talented artist from Greece, now residing in the United Kingdom. The focus is on Agis's journey with OCD, delving into the steps he took with his therapist to overcome compulsions and rituals. The episode also explores the contrasting perspectives on mental health in Greece and in the UK. Agis shares how these experiences have contributed to his current state of happiness and fulfillment, which will provide valuable insights to our listeners. Can you tell me about the type of treatment that you did and you're still doing? Like, are you doing CBT or
Yeah. So
exposure therapy?
Yeah. So here's the thing. I've tried, when I started doing therapy, it was more like talking, and I got antidepressant pills in big doses as well, because my situation was really, really bad. So once I calmed down a little bit, so let's say with numbers that my OCD from 90% went to 70%, and my doctor thought that now I could try CBD because, it was impossible to do anything. I was out of order. So after a few months, we started CBD with a great system, to be fair. The guy is amazing. So it was a lot of CBD. It's not easy to do. Not at all, and I understand that. But if you find the therapist that can really reach you and has a really good method, it helps a lot, and you just need to be patient. So what he did was this. We sat down, and I had to write down every aspect of my OCD. Like, I wash my hands when this happens. I wash my hands when this happens, in full detail. I check the heat at 100 times before I go to bed. I try to see if everything is locked before I go to sleep. I check my car if it's locked before I leave the car 50 times. I had to write everything down, really think about it. We spent 3 or 4 sessions writing down every single detail, even the things I was really embarrassed saying, things that deal with going to the toilet, having a bath, having sex, or everything. And then I had to give a number next to it, like a degree, that this is 5 hard, or 3 to 10, or 2 to 10 hard out of 10. So I have to categorize everything with numbers, which is the hardest, which is the easiest. The hardest, let's say, for me was the idea of touching someone with HIV. All right. The easiest was opening and closing the fridge, because I had this thing that the fridge is cold, so the germs stay alive. So the fridge was out of the question as well. So everything was out of the question, but So I had to write down everything. And also, so that number, 10 out of 10, was, or 2 out of 10, was how hard it is to me to deal with them. And then, not to deal with them, to do them. So it was 5 out of 10 hard for me not to check the logs, let's say. Mm-hmm. Then a second number next to it, how much I avoid situations like this in order not to get triggered. So I wouldn't go to meet a friend because I will get trapped into checking if I've locked the car. So how much would I avoid to go out because I would have to deal with these things. So it was a two-side ranking system. We wrote down everything. And then he started from the really easy ones. And I had to, one time per week, specific day, specific time, for 40 minutes to go against that. So he took, and that's not a random example, it's the true example. The first exercise I had to do was every Tuesday for a month, for 40 minutes, I had to go and just touch the refrigerator. That was it. And then after the 40 minutes, I could go and wash my hands. So he went really slowly from the really easy things. And it was amazing how this, and remember, I was in really bad condition and couldn't even touch the wall. Nothing. I was basically trapped on my own in a corner of my room where I was thinking it was safe. So doing the refrigerator exercise unlocked several things that I couldn't even connect they're the same, or they're related somehow. So that was a huge improvement for me. And then slowly after 3 years, we were having our sessions in a specific hospital where HIV people go in Athens, in Greece. We were having our sessions in there. So, and that happened in a period of 6 months. So, but he started, with little things that were really easy for me to do at first. And the idea behind it was that, if you spend like 40 minutes doing it, the OCD goes away, and then you understand, you reteach your mind, and you prove to your mind that nothing happened after all. It's really hard, I admit it. I don't know, I cannot even remember how I managed to do it, because back then it seemed impossible. Now it seems really easy, but I understand how hard it is. So that was for 6 months weekly. And then for the rest 2 years, we were doing like monthly sessions and trying to lower down the medication dose. But I have to say that after 3 years, maybe, or 4 years, I came to a condition I'm now. I was really good, and I could live my life normally, worrying about things, of course, and being extra careful, but not being trapped. And the rest 10 years, like from my 30s to my 40s now, basically was a slow progression to be even better and better and better, to the point that I'm now, where for the last 2 years, I basically don't do anything that could be considered as an OCD, but everything transferred to my heart, which means what? I focus a lot on my heartbeat. So I am getting scared that I might, my heart will stop working, and I focus there. So I have to be, I have to really try not to focus on my heart. So that's why when I go to sleep or when I watch a movie, I cannot control it. And I realized that all the techniques I've been doing couldn't help me to stop focusing there, because, when I focus there, I think I'm going to die, and, panic attacks and things like that. And at first I thought that it wasn't OCD related, but then I understood that it's the same exact logic. You get an idea, and then you cannot take your thoughts out of it, and you focus there, and you suffer, and then you have to do something to avoid it. So it's the same logic, just different aspect. But since it wasn't something practical that I was doing, like washing my hands or checking the doors, or or trying to convince my friends to say something again so I can feel better, it wasn't something practical. I couldn't deal with it. So for the past 2 years, I again did CBD, but a different kind, which is, exercises on focuses on things and focusing on colors and watching videos where you have to focus and basically it's called, I can't remember the English word. It's their exercise focusing on sounds and images so that you can teach yourself to being able to relax and, understanding that nothing wrong will happen while you relax.
I know what you're talking about. They have them on YouTube.
Yeah,
I've watched them on YouTube before.
Yeah. It really helped me, by the way. I couldn't believe it at first. I thought, oh my God, that's a little bit stupid. But they really help. And I managed not to go and check my heart every week. That was a win. So I've only went twice so far. So once per year. I guess that's all right.
Well, that's normal.
I mean, I'm 40 years old. I should check my heart every year.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
do you have a heart condition in your family?
Only my grandfather, and nothing really important. And I've checked my heart; everything is working great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I'm going to go ahead and bring this up. I bring this up with every guest, but there is a caveat I'd like to say. I was going to ask you about medications, what medications you found most helpful or had really bad side effects from. But I also want to remind my listeners that everyone reacts to medications differently. So just because Agis really liked one medication or did not, it doesn't mean you're going to react the same way.
Exactly.
But if you have any that you want to say, because some of the guests I've interviewed have mentioned medications that I didn't even know existed. So that might help someone.
All right. So my main medicine is called Intact, but I know that there is not the same brand in America. I know that it doesn't exist, and it also doesn't exist here in the UK. So the essence, it's escitalopram. I'm going to write it down here in the chat. It's an antidepressant medicine with escitalopram. The main essence is escitalopram, the main ingredient. So I started with 60 milligrams per day, which is a lot. And now I take 5, which is like great. The side effects are, it kind of stops your libido, how do you call it? I don't know. But you don't have like erection problem or something like that. You just don't, you're not that sexual at first. But then you get used to it. And, you after a year. And it's like having no side effects at all. That was the only side effect I had. It's nothing. No side effects, basically, I would say. So that's the medication I was taking.
For you? For
me, yeah, for me. So no side effects at all. Just a little bit with the libido. Which, I'm not sure if it was that or if it was like I was too afraid of HIV. So, maybe a combination of that. But, I'll be really open. You could feel a little bit of, even if you try to watch porn, for example, or have a sexy chat, or, you weren't there. But after a year, that side effect went away as well. Right. And I'm not sure if that's the same thing for women. I have no idea. It helped me a lot. The first month was really hard because, when you get antidepressant and you don't suffer from depression, you kind of get more high and more active. And that makes your OCD a little bit worse because, you have more energy and you spend that energy to your OCD, of course. But after the first month, I saw big improvement, and without even the CBD. So because I started CBD later on, because my doctor wanted first for me to be a little bit more functional.
Yes.
Before I start.
Of course.
Because I was doing crazy things. I mean, I'll give you just an example, a funny example, just to make things funny a little bit. So before I go to sleep, I would go to the kitchen where we cook, right? And I would check if the fire is on. So I would touch and make sure everything is 0 and off again and again. So I would spend there 20 minutes at least, making sure that everything is not working. And then I would spend another 20 to 30 minutes in the electrical board to make sure that the kitchen is off from there as well. And I couldn't convince myself. I could see it, but I couldn't convince myself. And then I would go to bed, and sometimes I would go up again and check again because, I wasn't sure. Funny thing of the story, I've never, ever connected the kitchen to the power. And I knew that. So I was in that state with everything, not only the kitchen, of course, with everything. So yeah, he wanted me to be a little bit more functional before we go to CBD.
Right.
Another medication I've tried was antipsychosis, and it was called Abilify. I have no idea the ingredients. So he gave me that in a really small dose. So the pill was 2 milligrams, and he was giving me 1/4 of that pill per day. Because at some point I was so scared during the CBT, and I was so struggling that I personally told him, please help me, give me something more. I cannot do the exercises. I cannot, So he gave me that the name is Abilify. It was 2 milligrams, and he was giving me 1/4. This medicine destroyed me. I couldn't function. I couldn't stay awake. I couldn't do anything. I put a lot of weight, and after 2 months, we decided to stop. But it really helped. So, but the side effects were that bad that I decided to stop it, although it was helping me doing the exercises and being calm. But I was like a zombie. So I still have it in my little box over there, and it's the enemy. I hated it. And it also helped me realize that I need to try by myself a little bit. I know that when you speak about CBD and how much it helped you, you make it sound easy, and I truly understand it's not, because I remember how hard it was even to do small steps. But what I guarantee is that if you really try it for 3 months, and if you don't cheat and you follow a specific program and a specific schedule, and you really, really do it, to me, I'm going to say it one more time. To me, that was the solution, right? So it solved the problem. And I was really, really bad. I wasn't like a guy that just had OCD, like, fixing things on his desk. And I'm not trying to make it sound like my situation was worse than others. I'm just saying that it was a really bad situation, and I solved it with CBD. It was awful hard. It's not a bed of roses. But yeah, with that medication, the escitalopram thing, and the CBD, I have a normal life.
I see that on a lot of the message boards. People are saying that they want to do it, but they're too afraid because it looks too hard.
And it is.
What
I understand that.
Agis is saying, I believe, is that it is hard, but it's well worth it. And it takes some bravery. You got to push yourself. That first step is just doing it the very first time. I still remember the very first time I did it. I was petrified.
Yeah, and, I get it.
And
I want to add something to that. I think that having the right therapist plays a huge role, because not everyone is for everyone.
Right.
But yeah, the guy helped me a lot. He knew how to make me trust him.
It's
And
absolutely okay to change therapists.
Yeah, I agree with that. But yeah, it's really hard, and you have to start with the little things, and trust me, it unlocks so many other OCDs you have. You cannot believe it, even the simpler things. Another thing, I have to be honest with that. So I have a huge ego. I've always wanted to be somebody in this life. So the idea that I managed to become famous in my country and, be on TV and things like that, and the fact that I ruined that by myself because I was doing these things. I was the one who was checking his kitchen for hours instead of working. And instead of being happy with what I had, helped a lot, because at some point I said, what the hell are you doing? I mean, you have to fight this. So I was really determined. And that helped. I don't know how anyone can do it. I mean, I have zero advice. But at some point I convinced myself that, okay, you're stupid. You need to work this out, because, there's no other way. But yeah, the fact that I have, an ego and a lot of dreams that I wanted to achieve, and I was really passionate about it, helped me a lot. Although, yeah, I lost my career.
You did.
And now nobody remembers me. But anyway, yeah, at least.
Were you ever suicidal, Agis?
Come again?
Were you ever suicidal?
Not truly. Mm-hmm. But what I have, and also had, and still do, is a lot of hate. Like Anakin Skywalker hate. Meaning what? That I get jealous of other people's lives, and I get really frustrated, and I can feel the hate inside me, and I'm trying to work on that, although it's hard, because people don't treat me like if I'm sick. And what I'm always saying, and I keep saying that to my family and to my friends, is that if I break my arm, you will be there for me and you will understand that. But the fact that it's something you cannot touch and you cannot see doesn't make you understand. And, that's what really bothers me. So to answer that, I wasn't really truly suicidal, but I've become violent and rude a lot. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I expressed that part with hate. Mm-hmm. So at some point I stopped talking to my brother I hate my brother, and I stopped talking to him for 2 years because of that. So I think that the whole suicidal thing, to me, worked the opposite way. Like, let's destroy everyone because they don't understand, which is really bad as well. But yeah, I was never truly suicidal. I might think about it or say it, or I'm going to kill myself, but I know deep in me that I never meant it, or I never felt that way.
Okay. I understand that congratulations are in order, that you and your wife are expecting a baby this month.
Yes.
I'm so excited for you.
That's another example. I've been dealing with that really, really, really good. I have this wall of defense that, nature and science will do the thing. Nothing's going to go bad. I was never afraid about it. And I had reasons to be afraid, because my wife suffers from pressure in her brain, which is not like a serious condition, but, the doctor advised for her not to get pregnant. And, the whole pregnancy had to be a little bit more careful, and, but it never got me. My wife that doesn't have OCD, she is washing the washing machine before she washes the baby clothes now. And I'm laughing with it, which is something I would totally do. And, just because I have the OCD mind and she doesn't, I tell her, okay, so you wash the washing machine before you wash the baby clothes. What then? You take them out and they go to the drawers. So shouldn't you wash them again? I'm making fun of her to see that, how different is the OCD chain of reaction and how it can go through all over the place. So before you take the clothes out to get them up, you should wash your hands. And if you accidentally touch the door handle should be as well, cleaned. So it goes all over the place. And she's laughing, of course. She is more anxious about it than I am, which I guess is a success. But again, it comes back to that thing that when I have to deal with the real thing, I'm calm and I know how to deal with it. So I guess when the baby's born in 2 weeks from now, I will probably melt down. Because
it's great to have a sense of humor and to laugh at ourselves. Because some of the things that we do are just really ridiculous.
They are.
And when I think back on all of the things that I did before, it's like I cannot believe I used to do this every single day.
So I'll tell you something now that you said about the sense of humor. When I did this documentary, I interviewed an amazing woman. She was amazing. She was when I did that interview, she was 45, so kind and so like a really cute person. Never managed to really control her OCD over the years, suffering a lot, couldn't deal with CBD. But she was laughing at herself through the whole interview. She was describing what she was doing, laughing all the time to a degree that I felt that, that's too much. So I'm going to share this story because it's the worst story I've ever heard when it comes to OCD. So her big thing was this. While she was driving, and let me remind again that she was laughing as she was saying that, and she was making fun of herself. So while she was driving and, passing like a green light, she would think, is there a chance that light was red and I killed somebody? So she would stop and she would go back and create a whole traffic to check if someone is dead back in that traffic light. So everyone would go like, horns and what are you doing? Things like that. So that escalated even worse because she was going to the police to give herself, truly believing that she killed someone. And she knew that she probably didn't, but she thought that if I go to the police and say that I have the impression that I might have killed, the police wouldn't go and check. So she would say, I killed someone, so that the police could go and check and tell her, nobody's there, nobody's dead, you're free to go. So she did that twice, then she stopped driving, of course. And she got trapped to her place, being afraid that if she goes outside, she will kill someone for sure. But she reached to a point where she would go surrender to the police without even doing anything. And she was saying that story in that interview, laughing, like really laughing, not laughing hysterically and out of fear. She was making fun of herself. And I guess that's a first step to, start training your brain that you can let go. So, yeah, I'm making fun of myself a lot about these things.
Is this documentary still available for viewing?
First, no, not exactly, because first it's in Greek, and second, I did this to help a psychiatrist in Greece. So it's for educational forums and things like that.
Okay.
I really want to do a documentary now.
Okay.
Here in England, or from England, not with English people, but in English, so that can be universal. It's something I really want to do. It's difficult sometimes because when you do something public, it's hard to find people willing to talk, showing their face, and I get that.
That's exactly why I'm doing this podcast.
Yeah. I've also, again, part of my job, I've also done subtitles to a documentary for OCD with children.
Okay.
So I've done only the subtitles there, the Greek subtitles. I'll find the link and send it to you. It's amazing. It's really good.
Great. I'll put that in the show notes for our listeners.
Yeah. It's a really good documentary, especially for children and parents, because it's dedicated to ages 10 and below, I think, or 12. I'm not sure.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I was wondering, before we close, unless you have anything else you want to talk about, do you have anything else you want to talk about that I haven't brought up yet?
Well, from what I've seen and what I see people posting about it, and that's my new passion around OCD and how to treat OCD, is that what I said before. So now in this new modern society, we care about everything. We care and we disagree and we fight, and the whole world is separated into two groups. Like, you are leftist, you are right-winged, and they fight about every single thing, even about clothes, even about small details that nobody even thought someone would care at some point. And I'm not judging that, and I'm not against it. But since this 2023 people care so much, and they do well to care about human rights, feminism, sexism, genders. We have like 100 genders now. Well done. No problem with that at all. But since we managed to care about all these things, people should also care about mental health. So we've reached a point where we can accept everything, and well done. That's good. We can accept and understand anything. And all we are willing to fight about, I don't know, the rights of people who feel that way, or they are vegetarians, and that's amazing that we do. Let's add mental health issues to that list, please. I mean, because I've seen people, and I'm a good spy on social media, so I will see a post by someone fighting about trans rights. All right, well done. And at the same time, I've seen the same person going in an OCD group saying, I suffer from OCD, but I'm too scared to go to the therapist because my family will think of me as crazy. So all I'm saying is, now that, humanity in the Western societies, of course, managed to do this huge step to defend the rights of every single minority. And that's a good thing. Let's add the mental health there as well, because it's not there. At least in my country, or the country I live, it's not there at all. So here in England, they have this crazy thing. Whenever you go to a restaurant, they're going to ask you 3 times if you have any allergies. So before they give you the menu, they ask you, do you have any allergies? So they care that much about the allergies. They would ask you, before they give you the menu, when you order, anything you want us to tell to the chef, do you have any allergies? And when they bring you the menu for the desserts, they're going to ask you again 3 times for allergies. I'm not saying they're not important. They are. But nobody cares about mental health issues. And not only they don't care, but even us that we suffer, we feel embarrassed of, going to the doctor for that. So that's my only, let's say, word of wisdom, that now that we've managed to become better in so many ways and so many other factors, we need to start adding the mental health in that amazing list that we've created with all the human rights and all the good things that we're fighting for. I think it's time, and it's past the time, actually. So don't feel embarrassed about it. Just go and solve it, or at least try to go and solve it exactly the same way you do when your leg hurts. Because why not? you suffer from something, and it's from a certain point of view. You think that since it has to do with your mental health, you think that you don't deserve to solve it, or that's the only thing I'd like to say, that we can do better, all of us. And that's why I'm always open to speak. I don't care about showing my name, my face, my email, because it's just a condition after all. And we need help. I need help. So and I also offer it. You also said that you want to ask me a few things from. I think you said I'm the first male that you interview.
Yeah, so far. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you have any more specific questions, I'm happy to.
Well, I was just wondering if, from a male point of view, I mean, when I go onto these message boards, it seems like the majority of the people who are talking are women, and I don't know the statistics on that in the world or in the United States, but I was just wondering, I don't know, is it different as a male having OCD than it is as a woman? Like, I think don't really know.
I had the same problem with that documentary. I couldn't find male willing to talk. Mm-hmm. Although, because the way I reach people was through this psychiatrist and another therapist, they asked their clients. So the majority of females said, yes, I will talk about it, and males didn't. I think it's part of this stupid patriarchy thing that, I'm a male, I shouldn't have flaws, I shouldn't talk about them. They hide more, they don't express themselves. So, they feel that they will show less if they do. Because from the statistics I've seen online, it's 50-50. It's not like any different. I think that's the case, that they don't talk, because then they will not be considered men enough, which is ridiculous, of course. Plus, I think men don't express themselves that much. I mean, in every aspect in this life. But I'm not a scientist in social matters, so I don't know, I guess. It always helped me to talk about it. And I'm not a shy person as well. So, yeah.
I have another gentleman scheduled. Just hasn't happened yet. So I was just curious. Well, it's been great meeting with you today. I've totally enjoyed conversing with you. You're always welcome back if there's anything you want to talk about. And I wish you so much love with the baby. And
thank you very much.
You're going to be a great dad. I just know it.
Thank you very much. It was amazing having you here. I would say that anyone who's listening, share this, not my episode, the whole podcast, because I'm sure that it will help people open up. And again, Beth, congratulations for what you're doing. It's amazing. And
thank you. I have lots more interviews scheduled, so I'm excited.
Good. All
right. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
You too. Have a lovely day. Bye-bye.
I hope you enjoyed part 2 of my conversation with Agis Angeleye. If you would like to reach out to Agis, please email him at Agis, which is AGIS, at rpgstories.net. I will put this email address in the show notes. Don't forget that this podcast now has a Facebook group. It's a safe space where we can share our experiences with others who understand, because we all have one thing in common: obsessive compulsive disorder. Join us, won't you, on the Around and Around the OCD Circle Facebook page. The link is in the show notes, along with all of my social media links. Until next Monday morning, have a fabulous week. You are important to me, and please remember that you are not alone.